afraid of jinn? Question. The answer of many to this question is certainly. It will be yes. But we must know that jinn is also creatures like humans. But they have different abilities. Many associate jinn with evil, but in fact, the jinn is good and the jinn is like hurting people, and it can sometimes even come to occupying houses, and not just houses but whole villages. And our story today, it's all about a village in Saudi Arabia near the capital, Riyadh. This village is named Roses. Let's see together what happened in this village is a mysterious and suspicious event. The story of the mother of the cursed village Roses. Our story is about a young man from the kingdom called Yasser. Yasser is a good person who loves his friends and family so much. It was one of Yasser's hobbies to travel to European countries. Going to Britain, the holiday ended and Yasser wanted surprises his parents by returning early. He called his best friend Tariq and asked him to wait for him at the airport. Upon his return to Riyadh, Yasser arrived peacefully in the homeland. He was received by his friend Tariq and welcomed. A very warm welcome. Especially they haven't seen each other in a long time. On the way home, tell Tariq Yasser that all friends will. They go on a night trip to the desert to enjoy the view of the charming stars. Tariq asked Yasser. Especially it would be a great surprise for all friends. Yasser agreed and welcomed this idea very much. He asked Tariq to come pick him up at 11 p.m., and Yasser arrived home. He said goodbye to his friend Tariq. He walked into the house. The family welcomed him very much. They sat down with each other to exchange conversations, and then Yasser went up to his room and squeezed into a deep sleep. Yasser woke up to the sound of his phone as he rang. The caller was Tariq. To tell him that he would be at home in 15 minutes, Yasser woke up speeding and prepared to go out with friends. He told his family and went out in front of the house. Waiting for his friend Tariq to arrive, Tariq arrived, and Yasser went with him to the agreed location. It was a surprise when he saw Yasser. His two other friends, Haytham and Hassan, were all friends at the same school, and the friends kept going and exchanging sides of the conversation until 2 o'clock in the morning, where the talk turned. Friends are going to mention scary horror stories, especially jinn stories. Yasser said, "Please, friends, don't mention jinn. They may come to us." "Or what? British?" Here, Haytham interrupted and said, "Well, you reminded me of something that happened to me. A while ago, I visited a place where so many scary novels revolve. But I don't want to talk about it now," Tariq said. "No, Haytham, please don't kill the passion within us. We want to hear you." After asking all friends of Haytham to talk, Haytham finally decided to tell his story. Haytham began his story, saying, "This story happened in a village near Riyadh. It is a village named after the mother of roses. At the time of the spread of plague disease, at this time the plague disease was very prevalent in cities. It is naturally densely populated. Unlike small villages, during this period a man moved with his young son to the village of Mother of Roses. He escaped from the disease. He swept through the city. Especially since his wife had died a few days ago from the disease, the man was afraid. He was sickened. No one cared for his son as well as his son. He was ill, and that's why he moved to the village. In a day, this man was found in his barn near the livestock killed. Weird about it, he wasn't just murdered. He was killed and a bunch of vipers were running on him. But the killer was not found. There is no evidence to lead the police to solve the mystery. Like these days, Hassan asked curiously, "And what happened to his little boy?" Yasser said, "There is certainly a murder. There was a man killed, and then his son was kidnapped." Tarek's most frightening opinion was, "Does it make sense, friends, for the mother to be alive, who came to the village and took her baby and killed her husband? And if that's true, you see why. It was very difficult for the cops. This man who died is new to the village. Plus, until he had a little talk with neighbors and with the people of the village. And so there's not enough information about him, and that was why he closed the case, without getting to solve the puzzling puzzle." Tarek came up with a weird idea and said, "How about we go together to see this place?" The responses were different, so he was good and excited to go. Either Yasser and Haytham refused, but after Tarek and Hassan's attempts, we were able to convince Yasser. Yasser was afraid to go to that place, but at the same time he was very curious and he decided to go with them. And then the friends sat down trying to convince Haytham to go with them because he knew the place, and Haytham agreed to take them to the desired place and then go back again. The next day, Tarek drove to the house of both Yasser and Hassan and then met everyone. Haytham, with whom his own car was walking in front of Tarek until he showed them the road. About half an hour later, friends arrived at the entrance to the village. As usual, Haytham was determined to return again, and he was saying, "It is impossible to go to this house again. All of you go to the village and there you will find people living there. They will tell you the house. Just tell them we want to go to the house of the shepherd Salem." Yasser felt a little relieved. At least the village is not completely abandoned. The road to the inside of the village was not a sound one. It was foot and shabby. The three friends entered the village, left the car and started walking between the village's houses. The village seemed to be very natural. Although the houses were old and mud, they were not as scary as Haytham described them. As the three friends walked down the road, seeing an old man sitting in front of his door, they all turned to him and Tarek asked him, "Dear Grandpa, we want you to show us the home of the Good Shepherd." The old man replied, "And he's angry. There's no Salem shepherd here." Yasser said, "Is this not the village or the roses?" And here the old man started screaming angrily, "Yes, this is the village and we don't have any patron named Salem. Do you want anything else?" Friends were impressed and moved away from the old man, and suddenly a young man came out of the house and said, "Do you want any help?" Hassan told him, "Yes, we want you to show us the shepherd's house." "Salem, we heard about this shepherd and we want to see his house." "Yes, you are like those who went there before you. Well, we'll describe how you go home." After the young man described them the way home, Yasser heard the old man muttering low, saying, "God cursed you and that shepherd in one day." Here Yasser felt that this old man knew nothing and did not want to disclose.